Hello, my name is Malcolm Holmes and I'm an engineer on the Platform Cat squad. I'd like to give you a brief demo of Grizzly and particularly its new Grizzly Serve functionality and how this can help us with what I've been calling offline dashboard editing. So what do I mean by offline dashboard editing? Well, sometimes we might want to move the source of truth of our dashboards outside of Grafana itself and manage them on a file system as JSON files or some equivalent so that we can keep them in Git. So the Git becomes the source of truth rather than Grafana itself. And our dashboards are deployed into Grafana via some kind of CI/CD pipeline after sufficient PRs, review, process, etc. So let's get ourselves configured and ready to use Grizzly. So what I have here on the screen is I have a vanilla Grafana instance. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm going to create myself a new service account. I'll call it demo, give it admin access and tell it to create. Now I'll add a service account token, generate the token, copy it to the clipboard. Okay, good. So now Grizzly uses contexts, much like kubectl, so that it can manage multiple Grafana instances at the same time. So I need to tell it, create me a context and call it demo. That's done. Now I say Grizzly config, I want to tell it the Grafana URL for this context is http localhost 3000. Good. Now I want to tell it the token. It's okay to share this token because it's an ephemeral instance. Good. So now I can say grr list minus R for remote minus T for type or target dashboard. So I'm asking it to show me all of the remote dashboards on this Grafana instance. Now, if we look here, we will see there are in fact no dashboards. So we'll expect this to show no dashboards. It didn't show any dashboards, but it has successfully connected to Grafana. Okay, so now let me have a look in here. If I look in our examples directory, we can look at there's a YAML folder and dashboards in there. And here is a sample dashboard. Here's a really, really simple dashboard. It doesn't even have any panels, but it has everything, all the basics for managing this dashboard. Let's say I want to test this the old way. I want to test, is this dashboard working as I expected? I would say grr apply. And Grizzly would simply push this dashboard to Grafana's API, and I would then reload my Grafana dashboards list here, and it would show up. I can click on it and so on. But at this point, my dashboard in Grafana and my JSON bars diverge. What if someone edits that file and they don't commit it and oh my God. Yeah. So we really don't want that situation. We don't want to have a dashboard that is still in its review process being available publicly in Grafana. So what if instead we say Grizzly serve and that particular dashboard file? So now you can see here it's listening on port 8080. So what if I go to port 8080? We can now see we've got the Grizzly server. So I'm now going to select, and you can see the available dashboards. Well, the only dashboard available is the one that I referenced in my parameter to this serve command. So I click on that, and now we have our dashboard. Obviously, no panels in it. We wouldn't expect there to be any because there weren't any in the config for it. But let's have a look at the dashboard settings, and let me insert an X in front here in the production overview title. Save that, save it. Good. Okay, so let me close this. Let's go back and have a look at my dashboards. Actually, let's go back into Grafana and have a look at my dashboards. Reload the page. There's no dashboards here. So what has the save actually done? Let me have a look at my file again. It's added my file now has a few more default fields set. And look, there is my X production overview. So saving the dashboard over here via the Grizzly server has actually written that file to disk. Grizzly has opened a proxy through to Grafana, and it has intercepted the load and save events and written those resources back to disk, or read them from disk in the case of a load event. Okay, so that's great. So now what? Well, let's say we want to go the opposite direction. I want to edit the file on disk and see it change in Grafana. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same thing in a different terminal window. grr serve. I'm going to do -w, which says watch, tells Grizzly to watch my local file system. Okay, so it's going to watch the same file. Now I go back to, let's close this and reopen it. There you go, back. Now we can see we've got X production overview because we edited it. So let's load that up. Good, we can see the X production overview, but that X it was a demo and it was ugly, isn't it? So let's remove it. So I come here, I delete the X, I save the file, and as I save the file now, boom, we can see it's disappeared. So what's happened here is Grizzly, running in the other tab, has noticed that a file has changed on the file system. It loaded that new file from the file system. It made a connection to, it parsed it, and then it told Grafana via its live WebSocket functionality, it told Grafana to reload the dashboard. It reloaded the dashboard and our dashboard is updated. But what, say, if we're working with JSONit? In the examples directory, we've got, for example, this grr.jsonit. And you can see in here we've got two dashboards, prod overview and a new one here called test dashboard. So let's say we have a look at the examples prod, what's it called? Dashboard simple. Okay, so here we have a very simple dashboard. So I want to make a similar change to this one. I'm going to come here and I'm going to stop my Grizzly server, and instead I'm going to tell it to run grr.jsonit. But the file I'm running, the file I want to watch, isn't grr.jsonit, it's another one. So I give it another directory name. Watch all files in this directory for changes, please. So it's going to watch files in this directory, and when it sees a change, it's going to re-execute this file in order to render all of the resources. So let's run that. So now that's now watching. Let's come back to Grizzly, go back to the home page. We can now see we've got two dashboards there. So I want to look at the production overview one. Here we go. Production overview. What if I just insert in here my X and I save it, blam, my X has appeared. So in that moment there, Grizzly re-rendered the JSONit and then pushed change to your Grafana instance. Or rather, informed the Grafana instance to reload that particular dashboard because of the change, and hence it sees my change. So that's most of the demo done. What we could use this for, we could use this not just with JSONit and static files, but for example, if we're using the new Grafana Foundation SDK to work in TypeScript or Go, we could write ourselves a little file system watcher around our TypeScript or Go dashboard. Whenever any of our files change on disk, it simply runs the Foundation SDK to generate a new JSON file. We then have Grizzly watch that JSON file, and again, we would have the same effect. I make a change to my TypeScript or Go here, save it, and instantly we can see the change in our dashboard. So this can really help us get the process of evaluating and reviewing our dashboards before we put them into Git in pull requests so much faster. But also, once we've committed this change into a pull request, our reviewers can use this tool as well. They can pull down the branch and they can run Grizzly serve, and they can then evaluate the change that you're proposing to their dashboard and be sure that it's working as expected. So one last thing to say, what Grafana instance should I be using? Well, the Grafana instance you really want to use is any Grafana instance that has data sources with the same UIDs as you would have in your production instance. Now, if your organization allows it, you can use the production instance if you can get the requisite service account tokens. But we could just mock them, use test data sources, but so long as there is a data source with reasonable data in it, such that the dashboard will look reasonable, then it can be any Grafana instance. So I hope that is useful and shows the power of the Grizzly Serve functionality. Should you have any questions about this, please do come to the Client Admin Tooling channel on Slack and ask. Thank you very much.